Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Z Talks, and we're on to episode 7. And today's live stream is I've got joined by two guests who haven't been on Z Talks as of yet, and a guest who has been on the channel for the first time ever. Fellas, Jacob, Christian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good, man. I'm doing good. How about you?
Awesome. Yeah, doing good. And just appreciate both you guys taking the time to do this and being part of this live stream where anyone who's watching live right now, leave any and all comments in the live chat and any questions you want to ask my guests, and we'll certainly get to them. So, before kind of just to kick things off, Christian, it's your first time on the channel. I've seen you previously in the Rendered Image, which you co-host with Tyler and Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
I've also seen a couple of your recent videos of like Funko unboxings and stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But for anyone who doesn't know Christian and his channel from To The Lens, Christian, do you want to just tell everyone a little bit about what your channel's all around?
Yeah. For the most part, I do a lot of movie reviews, trailer reactions, and series reviews. That's what I originally based the channel off of, those 3 segments. But as of lately, I felt, the need to kind of like explore different stuff. So like you said, the Funko Pop videos, there's like a new thing I've been trying out. Every new one I would get, or any recent ones I would have, just showcase them. I'm not one to take them out of the box. I'm that type of person, but I will showcase the box and kind of like give you up close recording on my phone of the figure itself in the box. So it's like as much as I can, showcase as possible. So with me having that large Funko Pop case, like just so full of them, I'm just like, I should do a video on these one day. There's a whole bunch of them I can just showcase and it'd be pretty awesome. I need to get around to a lot more movie reviews lately. I've seen tons of movies, both in theaters and at home, but I'm like, I need to sit down and record these, so I've been doing that back to back so I can get like a little nice steady upload going, but a lot of the convenient stuff I've been doing mostly is trailer reactions. I took a step back and realized I do a lot of trailer reactions. So if you like trailer reactions, I'm your guy, because I like doing them, man. They're pretty fun to do, especially if it's something I'm looking forward to, like the new Prey movie, which is the Predator prequel. As a big Alien versus Predator fan, I can't wait for that new one because that looks really good. But I will be reviewing a lot of that and a lot of TV shows I watch too. I'm a big TV show watcher, But yeah, that's mainly what I do on my channel. Not really a bunch of video game stuff. I kind of wanted to do a video game. I think there's a gameplay, like a full gameplay of Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham Asylum, because that's like, my favorite game from that Arkham series. And so that's a full gameplay up there, but I kind of keep it movie focused, movie TV show focused. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on the live, man. It's really fun to be here.
Yeah, of course. And I've been wanting to get you on for a live for a while, and I definitely have plans in the future to have you on with ideally Tyler, if I can.
Yeah.
And with the dude's working all the time, so it's kind of hard to
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely with Christian's channel. Yeah, definitely go subscribe to him. The link is in the description box down below. Go give him some love. And man, I've been noticing over your channel recently, and I think sometimes maybe the reason why you haven't been getting to as many movie reviews as of late is because on the Rendered Image, you guys are always talking about like movies come out or like the latest TV episode and reviewing it as such, like on there.
Yeah.
So you guys are talking about it like every single week. So sometimes doing a separate review also. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe a bit too much sometimes, or you might think sometimes like maybe it's a bit too much, or you want to do a different video kind of thing,
Yeah, especially if we watch something together, like Obi-Wan. Like I reviewed the first 3 episodes of Obi-Wan. That's on my channel. You go and watch that. But I did the first 3 episodes and we watched them. And when I was recording it, I'm like, wow, this is a little bit a lot, just a little bit, because you're sitting there and you have to recollect everything you said from the live stream almost, because those were my thoughts. And I just had to make sure they matched. Now I'm saying something different because this is time away from it. Because on the Rendered Image, this is usually stuff like either we watch just live and then we're giving our thoughts on it like 2 minutes after watching it. So that's like very fresh. But when I review stuff, it's like days after. So I might have a whole other opinion. So that's where it gets tricky for sure. And of course, the Rendered Image, we're tossing topics left and right. We tend to go everywhere a little bit, and of course that like, you feel like you covered it already and you feel like you talked about it, but really you haven't. And you need to like sit down and actually properly review it. Like, would you recommend this to someone? Right. But yeah, it does get a little tricky in that vein, but ultimately it is fun because there's times where if I really enjoyed something like Obi-Wan, I'm one of those people that are enjoying it so far. I have not too many complaints so far, but if I'm enjoying it, I like to revisit it, go back, and then of course see those little nitpicks there. Like, okay, it's not perfect, and here's why, so that's that review, and I still enjoy doing it,
Right. Right. Yeah, 100%. And I think it's one of those, especially when and I'm sure Jacob could attest to this as well, where, if you say something on a live stream, then you're going to review it. If you have like a different thought, like, so not to say that someone's going to call you out on it, but they're going to be like, well, the other day you were saying it's good, now you're saying it's trash. And it's kind of like, well, your opinion has changed pretty quick. I remember when I did it, very quickly, I remember when I did like a podcast for the What the Flux podcast, like a specialized Back to the Future podcast on Spotify. And one of the co-hosts, I believe Eugene, like at the time was like, oh, in your review, you said X line. And I was like, I can't even remember saying that line. Never mind you asking me about that line, Yeah. So yeah, get completely where you come from. So yeah, Christian, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining. And again, please go subscribe to Christian's channel, To The Lens. The link is in the description box. And then my other guest today is a guy who has been on the channel several times. We've done quite a few movie collabs, including terrible movie collabs, which will be coming back in the future. Don't you worry, I've got plenty to line up. I've actually been watching a terrible movie tonight, which we'll get into very shortly. But yeah, it's my other guest today is Jacob Martin, who you recently saw on Cinema Horror Stories with the Movie Man. But if you don't have any idea about who Jacob Martin is, Jacob, welcome to the channel. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about what you and your channel's all around?
Well, I mainly do movie reviews, but I also do TV reviews, and I do ranking videos, and I do some other fun stuff on my channel. New series I'm just starting on my channel is these director spotlight videos where I highlight different filmographies of different directors. Like I recently did one on Sam Raimi and Tony Scott, and I think I'm going to move into actor spotlights as well, which I'm working on the first one of these already, and it's taking a little longer than anticipated because especially when an actor's done so many movies and you got to find the right clips of certain movies to put in these videos. I'm like, man, I don't know how some of these professional YouTubers do it and make it a day job. So I'm currently working on one. It's going to be on Johnny Depp. I'm going to work on that one. It's in development at the moment. And I'm having fun developing it, but it's taken a lot longer, especially when, I have my day job and other things that I'm committed to as well. So it's taken a little longer, but I'm hoping it'll come out in the next week or so. But I do a lot of movie reviews on my channel. I do Celebrating Disney is a common series that I have, and Superhero Saturdays is one, and I do a bunch of director projects on my channel. So some really exciting stuff. I'm also starting a weekly series where I'm covering Downton Abbey, as I've never seen that show before. I just did my review of episode 1 that dropped a couple days ago, and I'm excited to dive into that series going forward. I try to cover anything on my channel that has a specific interest. Like I don't have like any real bias on anything. It's as long as it's a movie or a TV show, past or present, I'll cover it if that's what I end up checking out. So that's pretty much all I do on my channel, and yeah, come check me out when you're done watching the stream.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And the link to Jacob's channel is in the description box also. And yeah, Jacob, I think I've said this quite a few times. I know Blacktastic and Rashad and Anthony Perez and stuff said this, but you're definitely probably one of the hardest workers on YouTube right now. Like, dude, the amount of videos you can put out and the amount of like good, just quality reviews you give is just crazy. I wish I could do that much, but I generally can't. But yeah, man, like you've got so many great stuff coming on. I think like with the director spotlight, but like the actor spotlight that you want to do, I think it's quite tough. Like if you are doing it on an actor who's got like so many movies, because like for example, when you're covering like a director, if that director say only got like 8 movies, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
But if they've got like 100 director projects, then that's going to be tough. So yeah, I can definitely get where you're coming from. And yeah, again, please go subscribe to Jacob and Christian. The links are in the description box. So yeah, we're going to move into the live stream. And just very quickly before I ask you guys a couple of questions, what I've got prepared. We've got the viewer Drew to say, hey, what's up? So hey Drew, how's it going? Thank you for tuning in. And again, anyone live right now, please leave any comments in the chat or questions, and we'll certainly get to them. We've also got Josh from Classic Tunes saying, hey guys. So, hey Josh, hope you're doing good. And AJ from AJ's Movie Place says, hi gents, Mike. Sorry I couldn't join you live this evening. Yeah, so a fun little fact is AJ recently hit 1,000 subscribers on his channel, and as a 1K special, I said to him to do the one chip challenge. So go check that out. You'll not be disappointed. It was awesome.
Yeah, your one chip challenge was hilarious, by the way.
Dude, it's like I've been told by a lot of people, like through when you're watching that video, it literally just looks as if my soul's leaving my body through all the pain I'm enduring. And if I really, really think about it, I can like take myself back to that moment, and it just gives me nightmares. So we'll not go there. But yeah, if you want to check that out, it's on the channel. It's one of my 1,000 subscriber special. Here we've got a question from Josh. He says he's watching. I think he meant to say Hustle. With Adam Sandler tonight on Netflix. Have you guys seen it? I haven't. Have you guys seen Hustle?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm actually really excited to see this one. I'm not the biggest Adam Sandler fan per se. Like, his comedies can be very hit and miss for me, but I'm really digging dramatic Adam Sandler. Like, my favorite of his movie roles of all time is Punch Drunk Love. And I really dug his performance in Uncut Gems as well, more so his performance over the story. Mm-hmm. This actually looks right up my alley, and I'm excited to check it out. If I have time to check it out this weekend, I'll give it a shot.
Did you say, since you said it's dramatic Adam Sandler, I might have to check this out. I thought also another one of those Netflix comedies on there. But yeah, me too, man.
It's like a sports drama where he's like training basketball players or something.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, I thought, what was it? Funny People. Judd Apatow's movie was a nice mixture of both his comedy side and his dramatics. Like, those are like when both worlds meet. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty neat, you know? So yeah, I do like his dramatic side more so.
Yeah, I agree with you, both of you. Yeah, like some of his comedy was good, especially like his earlier stuff. And then like he went through like a slump where he just took like a Netflix direct picture deal of like 3 terrible comedy movies in like a row. And then he kind of had like a breakout with Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, yeah.
And then like now it seems as if like they're taking him more seriously, which I'm all for, because there was several years ago he did a movie called Reign Over Me. It was like him and Don Cheadle. And I think it was all about like with him being depressed about like I think like the passing of his wife and like that kind of story, but like how he's progressing with that. And he gives us great performance, and I was like, well, why is this guy going back to like stupid comedy? And yeah, I'm glad that he's just getting a bit of a breakout. And that basketball movie, like I would definitely be intrigued to see that. I like a good sports movie. Do you, Christian?
Yeah, good, especially if it's like a biopic too. You know, if it's based off of someone that's actually existed, you know, even if it's like dramatized events, I still get a kick out of it if it's really well done, you know, and it drives home the message of what that person, you know, did in real life. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I enjoy a good story nonetheless. I'm not a big sports person myself. I know a lot of people are like, what's wrong with you? You know, I'm more into comic books, movies, you know, and stuff like that. So, but when a movie like that does come out, I do intend to enjoy it. Like I liked Moneyball, which Moneyball wasn't really about baseball. It was about the numbers behind it, you know, and I like, oh, that was really cool, you know? So yeah, I enjoy my sports movies here and there.
Oh, awesome. I've never seen Moneyball.
Okay. Yeah. I know Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, I know about it. And several years ago, I used to work in like a shop where I used to just like DVDs and CDs. So I've seen the cover of it so many times. And is it like a lot of movies? Like I'll be like, oh, I've never seen it, but I've seen like the artwork of it. So I was like, right, I know exactly what movie you're talking about. I've just never seen it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get to it though. I've heard great things about Moneyball. Jacob, have you seen that one?
I have seen Moneyball. It's been several years though, and I think I watched it before I really got into movies like I am now. So at the time, I thought it was okay. I need to give it a good rewatch because I bet if I watch it now, I'll probably think it's brilliant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. That's normally been the case, especially since I think Aaron Sorkin wrote that one. I think. And I felt the same way when I saw The Social Network years ago. I thought it was when I first saw it. I rewatched it a year or two ago and thought it was great. So I bet if it worked, if that worked on The Social Network, it'll probably be the same with Moneyball.
You
Right.
rewatched and you're like, wait, there wasn't another Army Hammer on set? That was him? Oh wow.
Exactly. Like I forgot there were two of them. I'm like,
This is
whoa.
brilliant.
And I think it's like so cool as well. Like sometimes when we go back and rewatch these movies, like before we used to do this, say like a YouTube review, and like now that we're doing YouTube review, because we look at the movies like so differently, and we can kind of bring both perspectives of it. So Jacob, I'm excited for you to check out Moneyball whenever you get the chance, and I certainly will be too. AG's Movie Placer says, gents, I've subbed to both of your channels. So AJ,
Nice.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Christian is on the road to 350 subs, and Jacob's on the road to nearly 600. So let's help those guys get there. We've also got JCX Fun to say, evening guys, hope everyone is good. So yeah, hey Joe, JCX Fun, hope you're doing good. Thank you for tuning in. And again, anyone watching live, please leave any and all comments, and we'll certainly get to them. The viewer Drew's asked quite a few questions, so we'll get to the first one. He says, which action movie villain do you like more, the T-1000, Hans Gruber, or Agent Smith, and how would you rank them? So very quickly, I'll give my quick ranking, because the only villain I know of is the T-1000. I've never seen Die Hard or The Matrix, so T-1000, and the other two I don't know. You guys?
That is hard. They're all good villains.
I don't know. Okay, I think I'm gonna go in the order in which I saw these movies. So it has to be T-1000, Agent Smith, Hans Gruber. I think that's my pick right there. Yeah, and plus Hans Gruber is just human. The other two are like cybernetic, AI. So it's like it's
right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right. It's a good pick.
It's kind of. I think I'm gonna have to say T-1000 is probably my favorite because of the three. He's the scariest of them all. But I think I'm going to have to put Hans Gruber over Agent Smith because I just love Alan Rickman so much.
Fair.
Right. Yeah, they're all memorable in their own right. I know like who the two villains are, but I've just never seen their movie, so I can't comment. So definitely you guys could probably more have like a big discussion about that.
I feel like I took the cop out, just the order I saw them in.
You can't go wrong with Hans Gruber and some of his one-liners like, now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Definitely iconic, man. That's awesome.
Right. I know that line as well. So Jacob, I like the impression now. We've got the viewer Drew also was saying, would it be cool if I'm assuming the A-Team he's on about here, or A-Team happened between action movie characters from the 80s and 90s as well as modern action movie characters? I guess the closest we get to that is maybe like the Expendable movies with like the older action stars and like some of the new ones kind of coming together. I don't know. What do you guys think?
But it's not their characters, it's the actors, I think this here came off as what if the characters themselves were to intermingle with each other, which, we're in an age where multiverse movies are like the hit right now. So if they really wanted to do bank, they would do something like that. But I can see that in like a fun comic book, kind of like a one-off thing where all these random characters just come together, in those 80s, comic book crossover style. Like I remember like in the 80s, 90s, there was like a huge comic book crossovers that really sell the books, like especially with Marvel and DC. So if they kind of like make, like a new little line of comic books where it's based off these 80s and 90s action heroes, I think that would sell, if they draw the likeness of them and they, have a pretty wacky out there story, like kind of like in NetherRealm style. NetherRealm likes to do that with their going back and forth between different realities and kind of interweaving a pretty cool narrative to that. So if they kind of do that in that vein, that would be a fun read, man, and it like create so many debates as to like who would win over who, like what's his name, John McClane versus Rambo, it's like who would win who, like do we give them enough prep time, it's like where are they set at, it's like, so a bunch of fun fan fiction right there for sure. I can see that mostly in a comic book.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, well, with the viewer Drew, I think, in reply with that, which you just mentioned there, Christian, he said the team will include Terminator, John McClane, Rambo, Indiana Jones, Jason Bourne, Ethan Hunt, John Wick, Daniel Craig Barnes, and Jim Brian Mills from Taken. Yeah, I think like in a kind of
that's
comic
an interesting
style.
List.
Very so.
I can't really imagine some of them getting along together though.
True.
Rambo's more of a isolated, self-sufficient type person.
Mhm.
Right.
I can't really see him get along with others. Same
That's
with
pretty
John
funny.
Wick. But
Daniel
man,
Craig.
that'd be kind of cool to see some of them team up, like Indiana
It would.
Jones, Jason Bourne, James Bond.
That would be pretty
That'd
cool.
that'd be a dope movie right there.
Now we need like a large enemy, a large antagonist. Like who would
And
these
there needs
guys
to be
go
like
up
a
against?
huge ensemble group of antagonists to
Right.
match these other characters. Like maybe you can
The
get
T-1000,
like, the T-1000,
Agent Smith, Hans Gruber. Yeah,
Yes.
I think these guys could take them on. That'd be a cool fight.
Right.
That's insane.
I think that would be awesome. I mean, imagine if they had all these characters in like a Mortal Kombat style tournament. Then you could
these all
probably
look like DLCs for Mortal Kombat. Yeah,
right.
that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I think like the only other way it could maybe work, apart from the comic which you mentioned, Christian, is maybe like like the movie like Free Guy, where you get like all these characters like in the background, or like they're fighting someone, or
Right.
they could like team up. Maybe like some kind of like adaptation like that, maybe. But
That'd be sick. I would love to see it on the big screen somehow, some way, you know. But yeah, I feel like the easiest would be on the page with pen and ink, you know. But yeah, that would be cool in Free Guy-esque style. Yeah.
Right.
Disney would have to make that movie in terms of the budget. 20th Century Presents.
They also proved that they can get away with getting cameos from other property they don't own, as evident in the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. So
true, everyone was in that.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Right. I still haven't seen that movie, but I've heard good things about it.
Oh, it's so good. It's pretty much the spiritual sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit that I didn't know I needed.
For sure. I went in there with like moderate expectations. I wasn't like too excited for it. When I went in there, I'm like, this isn't bad. It's not half bad. You got a couple of chuckles out of me for sure. You know.
Oh, nice.
But a rated, because you know, I the talent behind that. You know, there's John Mulaney, Adam Sandler, even Seth Rogen's in it. I'm like, but what if they did a rated R raunchy Chip and Dale? Because there was party scenes in that, and I'm like, oh, what if they showed them like doing drugs and you know and all that raunchy stuff? Like that would have been hilarious, you know. But of course, it's a kid's property. They couldn't really tarnish that much. But I'm like, but think about it. The people that grew up with Chip and Dale are adults now. You know, it's like that would kind of like cater to them. But regardless, it was pretty funny. You know, I thought it would be worse, and it wasn't. So I was gladly surprised by it.
Right. Yeah, dude, that's awesome that you enjoyed it. And I know, Jacob, you reviewed it and you enjoyed it also.
Yeah, I highly enjoyed it. It's like one of my top movies of the year at the moment.
Wow.
Wow, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, so I know you two guys like it. I've seen a couple of reviews of people saying that they love it. So yeah, I just need to get onto it, to be fair. I'll talk about which movie I just saw like tonight in a second. But we've got Jason, the old millennial, saying, I don't watch boxing, but I find boxing movies to be the best sports movie. Rocky, Creed, and The Fighter. Yeah, Rocky movies are awesome.
Yeah, I would say Rocky's probably the best sports movie there is.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely up there in like the top 3, I would say. Yeah. It depends what kind of sports movie, though, people like, because there's great basketball movies. Then you've got, like, you know, Field of Dreams. Then you've got Rocky, like, complete different sports.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of depends, really, but I get where you're coming from. And he's also just said, I love how Chip and Dale had random parodies of Jurassic Park and Terminator 2 in it.
I don't know about that. Many crazy jokes in that movie.
Yeah.
I know about Ugly Sonic, and that's about it. So
yeah, the internet spoiled that one way too early. Like I even knew the joke before I saw the movie. I wish they had saved that, because that would have been the funniest laugh if I hadn't have known that before coming in. But Twitter spoiled it for me, sadly. But it was still pretty fun that they were poking fun of that whole craze, the whole ugly Sonic design. That
especially the close up on the teeth.
The teeth, yes.
When he got to him, yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was. Oh, I actually read they almost it was supposed to have been Jar Jar Binks originally for that character.
Okay.
And I think that would have made sense too, but they somehow got away with ugly Sonic, and I think that was even funnier. Although a part of me wants to see the Jar Jar Binks cut.
Yeah, it's like, we know Jar Jar's not liked. Come on, bring someone new. And the ugly Sonic took its place.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this movie because I'm gonna ask you guys in a second what movies you've like seen this week. But I just want to give a quick shout out to Dave from Interpreting the Stars. because I was just in my local town centre today, like just going shopping and stuff, and I managed to get Groundhog Day on 4K
Nice.
for like £5, which is what, like $7 or $8, if that, brand new.
That's not bad at all.
But anyway, the whole point of this is I was around like my local shopping centre today, and he sent me a movie poster, and he's like, "Have you seen this movie?" And I was like, "No, I didn't even know it existed." So you guys have seen Top Gun Maverick, right?
Yeah.
The new one, I have not gotten a chance to see it.
Oh.
No. Okay. Well.
Oh.
Wait, you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick?
No, I have not. I haven't gotten a chance to be blessed by that experience because everyone gives me that same reaction. It's like, "Oh, how are you alive right now?" It's like, yeah, I heard nothing but great things about it, man. But I haven't gotten the chance to go out, and saw it. I think the last theater run I had was like Doctor Strange and Men. A24's Men was those last two runs in the theaters I had. Oh, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. So it was like those last three I had. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to see Top Gun. Maybe I have to go out and watch it with some friends that probably already seen it. So I'll be the only one that's seen it for the first time.
Oh, dude, you've got to go see Top Gun. I think you're in for a treat. That's all I'm going to say.
Because the first Top Gun is like right here. Okay, movie. Fun for what it is, 80s product. This is the first one. This is Top Gun Maverick. Like, it takes everything the first one did well and makes it 10 times better.
So it's the Judgment Day of this franchise?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Wow, that's cool, man. I'm excited.
And hopefully they stop there, because after Judgment Day of Terminator, they go.
It's been a nice duology, yeah.
Right.
Oh well,
right.
I agree.
Well, the story I wanted to share, like kind of touching on with Top Gun, the reason why I'm asking you guys that is, so Dave from Untitled Stars sent me a text message today. He's like, "Have you seen this movie?" And I was like, No, I've never heard of this movie. So you guys know the film studio The Asylum, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
right.
The cheap made movies.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They did like the knockoff movies, like that Dune one you watched. Didn't we do the collab on the Street Racer one?
Right. Well, their latest movie is a knockoff of Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
And it's called Top Gunner Danger Zone. So before doing this live stream tonight, I've actually just watched the movie. So just want to give everyone a heads up. That review is coming either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Sick.
I gotta watch it.
That's awesome.
Awful. That's all I'm gonna say.
Awful.
I'm surprised they got away with the Danger Zone title.
Right.
That's where all their budget
me
went
too. Me too. Because the whole thing about this Top Gunner Danger Zone, I'm not going to give spoilers, but basically Top Gun, you guys know, right? It's all about like fighter pilots and this training academy, and they eventually go up into the planes, etc.
And beach volleyball.
Right, and then playing volleyball when they get spare time. Well, this whole movie like scrapped all that. You maybe get like 10 minutes maximum of like air pilot action, and then the rest of it is like a movie that's kind of like a typical action movie where you get like a bomb on the plane and they got to try to disarm the bomb. And I'm like, how's this Top Gun? And I'm like, how's this Top Gun related? It's called Top Gunner.
Oh man, that reminds me of that Street Racer movie, because you see the title and you think it's making fun of Speed Racer, which came out the same year, but it's nothing like Speed Racer. It's mocking the Fast and Furious movies. It's false advertising.
It just reels you in, and then it shows you the actual movie.
Literally, yeah. So that review's coming tonight. But Christian, next time I bring back the Turbo Movie collab series on my channel, I'm getting you on for a Turbo Movie. Jacob, you're returning as well, so I don't think you've been let off.
Hopefully it's better than that. What was that one you had where I forgot what it was called? Was it that RPM where they do? It's like the most uncomfortable sex scene I've ever seen that involved oil and lubricant. That is the cringiest, most uncomfortable thing I've ever had to watch.
Right.
Does that top the Room sex scene in terms of cringiness? Like that is
actually, I haven't seen The Room.
You haven't seen The Room? Okay.
I've seen clips of The Room. Okay. I haven't seen the whole movie.
Right.
That was
I've seen the I did not hit her.
Okay, I did not. Yeah, yeah.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, yeah. There's a sex scene in there that's pretty weird. Like, yeah, it's like, and like an alien came down from another planet and was trying to simulate how humans have sex. That's what it looks like. So I wonder if you should check that scene out to see if that tops your most cringiest sex scene that you've seen. So that would be pretty interesting to figure out.
Yeah, because the one in the movie I watched, they tried making it the sexiest thing ever, but no, oil is not sexy. It's dirty.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad,
Ugh.
Christian.
Oh, man.
Truly. But I'm intrigued about the Room one now, and that movie in general because I've never seen it, but I've obviously know the famous line, and I've seen The Disaster Artist. So
Okay.
that got me intrigued in it. But yeah, anyone watching live right now, please let us know what the worst movie ever that is that you've seen or the cringiest scene you've seen. Let us know. But yeah, before we've got like a couple of comments, I just want to quickly read them out and ask you guys a question. Jason says, I'm subscribed to your channels now. So Jason,
Awesome.
you're
Thank you,
awesome.
thank you.
Thank you so much, dude. Awesome. And we've also got JC Explain saying, what old school movie would you guys like to see get a remastered? Or like a remake or reboot kind of thing, I guess is kind of like that overall question. Guys, have any on top of your mind?
I know one off the top of my head, and this might sound sacrilege because one, it's a great movie, and two, it's one of my personal favorites. But have you guys seen 12 Angry Men?
Oh, I've heard of it. Have not gotten the
man,
chance.
it is a fantastic movie. It's the movie that pretty much got me into black and white cinema. The premise is 12 guys in a jury room arguing the fate of a kid who's sentenced to death row, whether he's guilty or not guilty. 11 of them think he's guilty. Henry Fonda, juror number 8, believes he's not guilty. And so he's the one that has to convince everyone his evidence and that he's not guilty. And more evidence starts to arise and people have their motivations why they were against him to begin with. It's a fantastic movie. It's all in the jury room. And it revolves around acting and dialogue. It's an amazing acting movie. So why do I think it deserves a remake when the original is so good? I think you can take the concept of 12 Angry Men and apply it to any generation. I feel like now, in like the age where, you know, people are so divided all the time, imagine a courtroom movie with the same premise, but have like the most insane variety of people you could have in the jury room. Like, it doesn't have to be all men. You can have some women in there, people of different ethnicities and stuff in the courtroom, because the original, it was all white guys. So you can do like a different diverse group of people in this courtroom with different backgrounds and different opinions, and I'm sure that would be a more heated version of the original story. And I think if you have the right writers, the right directors, and make it a very fascinating movie, and one that I think would be just as powerful as the original 12 Angry Men, I think it would be a really good, worthy remake, in my opinion.
Wow. That's a good pick. That's a really good pick. It makes me want to watch the original.
The original's probably in my top 10 of all time, honestly. It's so good.
That's cool. That's sick. Yeah, now I got to sit down and watch it, man. Because all throughout film school, people have mentioned that, you know, and I just never had the time to sit down and watch it. So, yeah, I got to check that out. In terms of me, old movie, like an old school movie that would like to get remastered, I liked when I heard the rumor about Robert Eggers taking up Nosferatu. I was like, hell yes, let's do this. You know, like this is awesome. And it's like, if any dude's gonna do it like authentically like that, it's gonna be him. You know, and I still want to see it. I heard like that project's not really coming to fruition. It's kind of been pushed on the back burner for whatever reason. But I still want to see that, man, especially with Anya Taylor Joy as the main lead in it. And I would not mind. I know Willem Dafoe did Shadow of the Vampire, but I would not mind him coming back and portraying Count Orlok as him, you know, because in Shadow of the Vampire he played the actor that played the vampire Nosferatu. So to come back and play the character solely, that would be awesome, man. That would be really cool. And both those talents are no stranger to Robert Eggers whatsoever. So I think that would be a cool, you know, and also Nosferatu is mostly is a two person ensemble. It's for the most part, it's just the woman and then the vampire that go back and forth with each other, similar to Phantom of the Opera, you know. So seeing The Lighthouse, Robert Eggers can do a movie with just two people for its entirety. So I'm like, that's Nosferatu right there. Let's do it, you know. So I do hope he comes back and does it, because I do like the original. I remember when I was younger, I always like when I saw older, you know, movies that were like silent from like 1900 something, 1920 something. I was like, why do I have to watch this? You know, like there's no reason to watch this. It's so boring. There's no one talking. You know, you just hear music. Not even the picture. The picture's not even clear. Look at it. It's all one color. It's disgusting. You know, so, and then when I sat down and watched Nosferatu, I think I was maybe 12 years old. I sat down and watched it. I was so captivated. It was just like the texts that came up and you read them, they felt like the characters were saying them. Like I remember back to it, I feel like they were talking, but they weren't. It was a silent film. And I'm like, that was awesome. And I get that same feeling when I watch foreign films too, with the subtitles. Whenever people are talking, it's really good and it's really captivating. It feels like I'm not reading subtitles anymore. And that's when I felt at 12 years old and watching Nosferatu. I'm like, oh crap, this is really good. You know, and I'm glad that it was saved, because I think that was at a time during World War II when a lot of cinema was being burned, and, you know, and a lot of the cinema and books were being detained and being, you know, like banned and destroyed ultimately. Nosferatu was one of them that survived. So a lot of that German expressionism films were lost to history because they were destroyed during World War II. So it's cool to know that was one of the surviving movies, and it holds up today. Like you can put like music on, like you put a heavy metal soundtrack on in the background and watch Nosferatu, and you still get a kick out of it, and it's pretty cool, man. So yeah, that's I think one thing I would like to see remade, and if it's not, I'd be fine with that as well, because the first one's just awesome, you know. But I think Robert Eggers needs to helm that, man, because he's the one director I think that could possibly do it right, you know. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never seen like either of those movies, but I think in terms of like Robert Eggers, I think I could probably see that, because I know about the movie, but I've not seen it. I like 12 Angry Men. I know it's like one of like IMDb's like highest rated movies ever. I've never seen it. But yeah, like Robert Eggers, I would say especially, like he's such like an up and coming director, like The Witch, The Lighthouse, of course, The Northman recently, and he's just proven like time and time again he can do like bold visual and practical as well, because a lot of The Northman was just sets built and not much like CG or if any kind of thing, or like, you know, like a lot of practical stuff. So yeah, I think like he has like a very unique style to his directing.
Right.
And that's one thing I love about him, even if I'm not a fan of like The Witch, for example. Lighthouse, pretty cool. Like it was, I'd probably have to revisit it kind of thing, but The Northman was awesome. So yeah, I definitely could see that. And I guess for myself, now I've been thinking about this, like literally I've been thinking about this today, and I know this might be a bit sacrilege as well, but I've been thinking maybe about a Back to the Future remake or a reboot. Now, don't get me wrong, every single time I'd be like, no, I don't want it. But it's just like the fact with like the new Ghostbusters Afterlife was like dealt with like such love and passion and care for it. And awesome movie. I like the tribute that they do at the end, but like no spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, but they really tribute to the original two movies. But like they've just announced a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife with the same director, and I think like that care and passion which Bob Gale has done for the Back to the Future musical that's here in the UK, it's done so well. So I think like if those guys were to helm like a remake or like a reboot, or, you know, like kind of like a follow-on, like that could be done so well. But it would have to be like very fine-tooth combed, to be honest. But I don't know, it might just be me.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to do one, especially now that unfortunately Michael J. Fox has retired from acting. So it'd be kind of hard to do like one of these like legacy sequel movies when, you know, Michael J. Fox isn't really acting anymore.
Right. That's true. Or they could have it focus on Doc Brown's grandchildren or something, like his lineage, and then they can kind of bring back Christopher Lloyd. At least they want to go that route. But Back to the Future is nothing without Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. You know, like that's the duo there. But yeah, I agree, man. That would be very interesting if they do something like that. I could see it done, like you said, beautifully. Ghostbusters Afterlife. You know, that was a great comeback.
Great movie.
But I would love to see them do that with Back to the Future. Hopefully, we don't have to get like a terrible reboot first, like Ghostbusters, in order to get the proper sequel. But I can see it happening, man. It's not too far off, so maybe one day.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys follow Sean Chandler or not, but he had a good pitch on his channel on how to do a good like remake of Back to the Future instead of remaking the same concept as the original, which was 80s kid going back to the 50s. How about a current kid going back to like the 90s? Maybe do the same premise but different decades, so to make the comedy fresh. I'm like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I think that's quite a cool idea, because I think like if a kid was to go back to the 50s now, it's like completely different. Whereas if they go back to the 90s, they've like a lot of movies nowadays are set focused in like the 90s or like the 80s eras. So or like they try to be like the Fear Street kind of movies. I would say particularly like they were set back like those times. So I think it could be done. I know Christopher Lloyd's always said that he would do another movie, but Michael J. Fox have to be on board. That's what he's always said. But I think it just depends, because like I know a while ago like a deep fake went round with like Tom Holland as Marty McFly.
Oh, I remember that. Wow.
It was
and I think if they do a premise like where like he was like Marty's son or Marty's grandson teaming up with Doc, and I don't know. I've always said like the worst case thing, instead of Michael J. Fox in the movie, but like in the middle of the DeLorean, they could have like a TV screen, and he's on the TV screen, so he's still there. You guys are still gonna see him, and just acknowledge that he's got Parkinson's, so that's the reason why he can't go time traveling.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it'd be nice to have like a
what
little
they
cameo.
did with Val Kilmer in the new Top Gun. Maybe try to address his actual
heard about
health
that.
problems and put it in the movie.
Right. But it makes you care for him, because you're like, so that's what happened to Iceman, And again, no spoilers for Christian, but that's you find out what's happened to him, the reason, what's going on, So they address it in a great way, but you feel that emotion for that character. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting one. But we've got Jason here saying, I still like the original West Side Story movie, but I can see why they remade it so they can cast real Puerto Ricans in the roles. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But both versions are still really good, though. Like the original West Side Story, even with some, I guess people can criticize some of the casting now. Like, I don't think you could cast Natalie Wood as Maria if you made it today. It's still a great movie.
Yeah.
Flawed as it is. The songs are great, and I think the story is still good in that movie. But what impresses me most is that Spielberg not only respected the original, but told the great story in his own way. And to me, the two versions are equal in my eyes.
Yeah, and it was cool to see both Puerto Rican actresses win for Anita, in both the remake and the original. Rita Moreno.
Yeah.
One. So I
like that they got Rita Moreno in the new version playing a different character. And she even got her own song, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's like, again, it's just kind of that whole thing with like the love, care, and attention to the project, which Spielberg brought, and that's the reason why that movie was awesome. Yeah. So I think as long, like, kind of going back to like that question from G6 about like the remastered movie or reboot remakes, I think we all would like to see any kind of movie, as long as it's like redone with like care and passion, not just like studio interference and rushed. Because that's like the 2016 Ghostbusters, a perfect example, and not many people is going to ever want to see that movie, So I think it's one of those things. We've got Dave. Hey guys, how you all doing? Yeah, hey Dave. I recently just said as well that I just watched that Top Gun Danger Zone, so I'll keep an eye out for a review of that. But yeah, I've got a question for you guys as well while we're waiting for like some comments or questions coming in. So again, anyone tuning in live, leave any comments and questions and we'll certainly get to them. But yeah, I just want to know a little bit about what movies you guys have seen this week so far.
In terms of movies, not really a lot. I've been doing a lot of series watching. So I got through FX's Atlanta, if you guys have ever seen that. Atlanta's a pretty great show, man. It delves into the surrealism of things, which was a nice surprise. And it's very original. It feels like something of its own. And the third season is getting pretty trippy. That's the one word. If I have to use one word, it's trippy to describe that show. So it's a really great show. It's on Hulu. All of it's there, 3 seasons. And the third season just aired, I think March. is when it was doing new episodes of this past year. So it's still relatively new. So it's not like you jump onto the train like pretty late. I think they're doing one more season, which is season 4, then they're finishing it off there. And then other than that, I got into Invincible recently because I read I heard everyone loving Invincible, but I'm like, it's Robert Kirkman, because I've read The Walking Dead before I watched the series when I was a kid. It was like right when I started reading Walking Dead is when it's like a year before the series came out. So probably 2010 is when I was watching it, and 2011 is when the series started. So I was like 10 years old reading Walking Dead, black and white. I was like, oh, this is so cool and stuff like that. So I got to the point where, spoilers, Negan kills Glenn in the comic book. And that's basically, honestly, the same place I stopped reading and stopped watching in the show as well. I'm like, I stopped reading the comic there, then I stopped watching the show there. I'm like, okay, I guess that's the end for it, So when I heard Invincible was out, I'm like, I got to read the comic, man. Because I read Robert Kirkman's other comic, but I didn't read Invincible that he was also working on. So I only read the comic first, then I'll go into this. So I read, like, I think the first 27 issues of Invincible. There's a lot of Invincible issues. And it was crazy to know that it started back in 2003, the comic book. So there's a lot of 2000s references, like a Paris Hilton and stuff like that. So it's very much a product of its time. So like that's pretty funny. But it also kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit in terms of comic books, where it's like two characters are like, don't you hate when you read comic books and they're really cheap and they reuse the same panel over and over again, or like 4 times? Then they show you the same panel, like, because they're sitting there thinking about it. And it's like, yeah, that's really annoying. And so it's like they actually did what they were complaining about. So I like that little fourth wall breaking that the comic book has. So that was a little surprise. So now I'm on episode 4 of the season, and there's obviously changes that are understandable. Like there's one character that was, I think her name's Amber. That character is very much the character of the decade where this adaptation is set in. So Amber in the comic book is a blonde Paris Hilton type person with her flip phone, little chihuahua in the bag and stuff like that. Like she comes off that way. But Amber in the show, she's more progressive, being turned into a African American woman and portrayed by Zazie Beetz, who is also in Atlanta, which is a nice little connection there. So Zazie Beetz voices her in the show, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. They kind of like flipped it, and she's more, I would say, more self-sufficient. She doesn't seem like she needs, like, she yearns attention like the character does in the comic. The comic's always like, hey, kind of like if she was like social media heavy, she would be that, but this is 2000. So she's always like trying to get attention in other ways, like being like a model or something like that. But here in the comic, she's more like, no, I'm doing my own thing. I'm not really trying to be in the it crowd, but I'm also this love interest for the main hero. So I thought that was a really cool, update for that character. I know a lot of people be like, why did they change the race? Because a lot of people like to go up in arms about that. It's like, why did they do that? In the comics, they're one way. But I'm like, this is really understandable because in the comics, she's not really that great of a character. It's kind of, she becomes annoying, So I like how they switched that, and there's a lot other like story beat wise. They kind of like reveal certain things before than they do in the comic. So I like to describe the comic reads more like Watchmen, where you're trying to you're figuring out that these different heroes, the Guardians of the Globe, are getting X'd off one by one by an unknown force. Of course, if you've seen the show, it's Omni-Man, the dude with the mustache. The internet loves Omni-Man versus whoever, right? So I like how the show kind of reveals that to you at the end of the first episode, but the comic kind of like stretches that out a little bit. Then it reveals to you that it was Mark's father. So I find it interesting how they switched up the pacing in that way, but it still works. It's still enjoyable. It's still awesome. And the cool thing about a adaptation from a comic book is you get a kick-ass soundtrack, which I can see where the majority of their budget probably went, because they have a lot of well-known artists doing or using their music for the show, and it fits perfectly. Yeah. So far I'm loving that. So those are the main 2 shows I've been watching this past week. So sadly, no movies. Movies just of yet. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, dude, yeah, that's fine. If you watch TV instead, then that's cool. I've never seen Atlanta, but I've seen the first episode of Invincible.
Okay.
And for Invincible, like for the most episode, I was like, I'm wondering what's going on a little bit. And then that last 5-10 minutes, I was like, what is going on here? So I'm intrigued to get to episode 2 and finish the series. And I think they've announced like another 2 or 3 series on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe they did, yeah.
Or in production, something like that. Yes, I mean, it's been wildly popular, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially like yourself, I've read the comics and you can see the variations of the characters. And I think like sometimes that's the best way when they're adapting like a TV or like a movie, as you mentioned, like that character was based kind of like a Paris Hilton persona, and then they changed it to Zazie Beetz kind of persona, which she's awesome to start with. So yeah, I like that kind of change. I think like I haven't read the comics, but from what you're describing, it sounds like a well-needed change.
Yeah.
At least that's what I took away from that anyway. So
yeah, it's fun. Like when you sit there and think about it, it's like essentially that's her character, and it's like, okay, they wrote her to be that annoying character, so that love interest could shift elsewhere, later in the series. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too. Yeah, it's a pretty good series so far, man. I love how they just toss you in the deep end. There's so many names and already teams established, but they just toss you in the deep end. Comic and TV show both. They just like, oh, here's everything that exists. This world has already been lived in, so that's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay, awesome. And what episode are you up to at the moment?
4. So I think there's 8. So I'm halfway. I haven't finished 4, but I have to watch 4. So I'm on episode 4.
Right. I'm excited to hear your thoughts once you're done.
Yeah, I want to review it for the channel. So yeah, very much
awesome. So keep look out for that. And Jacob, what about you? What have you been watching this week?
Well, first off, you've got me intrigued on Invincible. I've seen so many reactions to that series, and I've been meaning to check that out. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It sounds pretty awesome. But there have been some TV shows I've been getting into. Obviously, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, is a great show. I don't really get where some of the backlash behind it is coming from, but I think it's a really good show. I think Ewan McGregor has not lost his touch as Obi-Wan. I'm enjoying the stuff with him and Darth Vader. I like some of the other additions to the series. I wasn't expecting to see young Leia, but I thought that was awesome. And I even like the Reva character. I don't even get why people hate her so much. I think she's an awesome evil character who's evil because she wants to be evil. I actually enjoy villains like that, and I think Moses Ingram is killing it. She needs all the love she can get right now. I think she's awesome. I like the visual look of the show. The action is really good, especially in the last episode, episode 4. Obi-Wan did some really cool moves on some stormtroopers. I'm like, yes, we're back to awesome Obi-Wan again.
He's back, baby.
Such an enjoyable series. I can't wait to see how it's going to wrap up. I've been enjoying it so far, and I think if the last 2 episodes deliver, it could easily be neck and neck with Mandalorian as the best Star Wars series. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, awesome, yeah. I know you guys have seen Obi-Wan. I haven't seen it yet because I want to do a rewatch of the first 6 movies, so it's like fresh, so I can go into it. But I'm just waiting for my partner, but like we're going to watch them together. But for the next 3 days, she's on like night shifts at work, so we're not going to be able to watch them. But yeah, I've seen some spoilers already, which it's bound to happen nowadays.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to watch it. But no, that's awesome. Well, we've got Sophie just very quickly. Sophie's saying, hey guys, so hey Sophie, how you doing? Thank you for watching. And again, anyone watching live, feel free to leave some comments and we'll get to them. She's saying that she's looking forward to join next week. So yeah, Sophie's going to be on Z Talks next week. So I look forward to having you then. We've got Jason saying, I want to see more lightsaber fights personally.
I think they're saving that for the finale. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably in this series, from what like spoilers have seen so far, you can get some lightsaber battles to tease you as to because I've heard like at first he's kind of like getting his level foot and then he's like just now starting to get back into like his old Obi-Wan. Yeah. So it's gonna come. It's gonna be some big payoff with him Darth Vader fight. Everyone's gonna want to see that. So matter of time. And we've also got a question here from J6 Fun. If it will work, there we go. He said, Ewan McGregor, Matthew McConaughey, or Robert Downey Jr. You have to erase one actor in all their movies from existing. Who's going?
Why?
They're all awesome.
But why?
I can't decide that.
That's hard, man.
That's like choosing between your kids.
They're
all awesome.
I love you all equally, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love all 3 for a variety of reasons. Ooh.
Okay, so if we get rid of Robert Downey Jr., does that mean the MCU is still there, or does that mean it's gone? Like there's Iron Man became a failed project and Marvel's doing something else now.
I mean, Iron Man is a good chunk of the MCU, so without him, there is no MCU.
True, unless it was Tom Cruise. Maybe in this universe, Tom Cruise took the spot. Who knows?
Maybe.
Oh man, this is tough, man. Good question. This is really tough.
Um,
I don't know if I
I'm
I,
I'm
I don't know
gonna
if I can
go.
give a good answer to that.
I don't think there
I'm
is a
gonna,
good answer.
I'm gonna go McConaughey.
Oof.
Simply because I love all three actors. I mean, it's more Ewan McGregor and McConaughey for me personally. But again, without Robert Downey Jr., you haven't got the MCU because he was. I know they've obviously tied in to start with the original Spider-Man movies at the moment, but
Hmm.
technically before then, it was Iron Man that started
It
this
was
whole
Iron
thing.
Man.
So if it wasn't that, there'd be no MCU. Ewan McGregor, of course, there'd be no Star Wars in terms of the prequel ones, and as well the old Obi-Wan. Kind of obviously, it's going to go into that
Yeah,
one. So for me, McConaughey, I would say, but it's a tough choice.
it is tough. Yeah, I like that answer, McConaughey, because the other two are established in large franchises. So we kind of like if they go, we kind of lose that essence of those franchises. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good answer. Hard answer. I'm Matthew McConaughey. I have to go with him. I'm
But
piggybacking on that answer. It's a good answer, man, but that's hard.
I'll probably do the same thing just to answer the question, but it's still a hard one.
Oh yeah, man.
Man, I love McConaughey, man.
He is good.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm. Calm ourselves down. That was a rough question. Let's calm ourselves down.
I always have a soft spot for Sahara. That's one of my go-to
Yeah.
movies. I love that.
okay.
Hey, yeah, I think we need to pull Panama.
Man, I haven't seen that one in a while. You really reached in my memory bank and pulled that one out.
Wow.
I still love that movie.
Interesting. That's awesome.
I've never seen Sahara, but I've heard things about it though. But yeah, Jacob, I like the impressions, man. Keep going if you need to.
All right.
Well, J6 says he likes asking the questions, keeps the conversation going, and gets things in caps on. Yeah, sure. Fire any questions. Again, anyone who's got any questions, feel free. And Jason says, so I guess in this scenario, you're like Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Perfectly
Pretty
balanced
much.
as all things should be.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, while we're waiting for kind of a couple more questions and stuff coming in, Christian, do you want to just let everyone know a little bit about what content you've got coming up on your channel?
Yeah, I got a lot of movie reviews coming down the pipeline. That's something I haven't done in a little bit. It's just a lot of stuff that comes up. And as you mentioned earlier in the stream, also doing a live show like the rendered image, every week is, it takes up a lot of time as well. And plus we cover a lot of topics, but
Right.
I would like to sit down. Like I'm going to review Doctor Strange. I haven't sat down and given my full thoughts on that yet. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Men, and also again Invincible. Once I finish that season, I'm gonna review that in its entirety. I initially wanted to review episodes per episode, but that's so hard to do. You can't really do that ultimately, because I know a lot of people with Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, a lot of people are like, oh, first episode's a little weak. I hope the rest of the season isn't like this. I'm like, dude, it's just the first episode. It's like, relax, man. Let it play out. So yeah, I wanted to finish the entire series before I actually, review it. So I got Invincible, Obi-Wan, the next three. Obi-Wan was an exception. I did the first three. You can watch that now. But the next three, when these final 3 episodes come out, I'm going to be reviewing that and the whole series as one. Did I do Moon Knight? I have to double check if I did Moon Knight. There's so much I have planned. I'm unsure if I did Moon Knight, because I know I talked about Moon Knight on the rendered image a lot. We went through Moon Knight on that, so check that out as well. But yeah, I got a lot of reviews coming up, and there's always trailer reactions. Anytime there's a new trailer that comes out, I'm always trying to hop on it and trying to watch it and upload it as well. So yeah, I think right now I got to do Nope. I think there's a new trailer for Nope out, so I might just do that.
Yeah.
Now. So yeah, I got to watch that as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. More movie reviews and trailer reactions for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think Nope. I think that was like the final trailers just dropped as well.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen the trailer yet because basically, if any of us have seen the trailer, like the previous ones, they've pretty much showed nothing about the movie, and I quite like that because nowadays they show everything crammed into like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Jurassic Park.
Right.
Jurassic World, man. Dominion, they showed everything.
I only saw the first trailer for that, so I'm good.
Oh, nice. Smart thinking, man. Smart move.
Right. Right, yeah, they literally have shown anything, and it's to the point where it's like there's no spoilers, there's no like something big gonna happen that you're not gonna expect anymore. And I think like that's kind of one of the things that's letting a lot of movies down nowadays because you know straight away. Or like for example, like Spider-Man: No Way Home came out, like the Spider-Man weren't in the trailers, but I mean that scene when Tom Holland's going right in the middle to attack, and then it's just a big gap on either side. You knew immediately he's not going to be fighting three enemies when the other two enemies aren't even looking at him.
Yeah.
and you know, I get it from a marketing point, being like, well, you know, three enemies against Tom Holland. Wow, how is he going to beat them?
Yeah.
But it's just like, I just don't think they needed that shot in that trailer.
Yeah.
Because the trailer was cool without it, you know, seeing like Green Goblin or like Doc Ock returning, you know, got people talking and enough people already being like, right, day one, I'm going to go see that movie.
Yeah.
So
I think they just needed to release one trailer for that movie, and it still would have done as well as it did because again, a lot of those internet rumors and leaks, everyone already knew. It's like, all right, let's just confirm it now. When they saw the trailers, like, yep, there's one. It's like they're checking off their list. Yep, there's Jamie Foxx. It's like, let's get him, man. Let's get closer. But yeah, that was a crazy theater experience when I saw it in theaters. People, it was insane, dude. I'm like, yeah, this is once in a lifetime thing, man. This is pretty cool.
Oh man, I'll never forget when I saw it. People were just clapping and cheering when both Toby and Andrew showed up. That was such a surreal moment.
Yeah,
of course, Andrew showed up for the first time, and I was going, "Oh my gosh, they're actually doing it!"
You know, it was funny because I remember in WandaVision the Ralph Boner joke. It just scarred me for life. So when we saw Andrew Garfield Spider-Man come through the portal, everyone was clapping. But I remember I'm like, wait. He has to take off that mask first. Because if he takes it off and it's someone else, I'm going to be pissed. Then he took it off with Andrew Garfield. I'm like, yes, let's go, man. I'm like, it's there, man. Let's do it. Because I've been burned before, you know? So it's like, yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, and I think like Andrew Garfield is probably like the one who got like the biggest reaction out of the two returns.
Actually, I think in my screening it was Toby that got the most.
Really?
Toby? Yeah, my screen, Toby had a little section of dudes in the back, which I understand because I grew up with Toby. So they're just like, yeah, it's the real Spider-Man. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome.
No, but Andrew still got a good applause, but it seemed like Toby's was louder.
Yeah,
the
for
screen.
sure. Yeah. In mine, Andrew's seemed to be louder. In mine, but then the section of guys back there is made up for that for Toby.
I felt like two people clapped when Daredevil showed up.
Right.
Who's me? Like, none of you watched Netflix, didn't you?
I'm actually going through that for the first time.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, over on a podcast I'm doing with my good buddy Ryan Cam on his channel. Week by week, I'm going through every episode of Daredevil, and I'm going to be reviewing season 1 real soon. I'm down on the last episode of the first season.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude.
Nice.
It's so awesome. You need to check it out if you haven't.
Yeah, I think I've definitely seen the first season. I think I've seen a little bit of season 2, and that was it. But obviously, I know they've announced a new series with him in coming soon to Disney. So
yeah, I hope they treat him right, man. I hope they do.
Yeah,
it's exciting that he's coming back, but I heard it's not the same writing team. I heard it's a different team of writers. Yeah. So I'm like, I hope they can carry that essence that the Netflix series had. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I think it's in good hands because, I mean, like, especially with Disney at the moment, they've already said, like, for example, like Deadpool 3, which is in production, or at least whatever kind of state it's in at the moment, they're still going to make it R-rated.
They're not going to Disney-fy it or something like that, yeah.
And that excites me because you can't dumb down Deadpool. I can't imagine a PG version of Deadpool.
Yeah,
that'd be the humor just wouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but I think I wouldn't be surprised with like Marvel at the moment if they're gonna go with a route where they have like these kind of out there characters in their own separate like paths. So, because for example, when they bring out the Blade movie, they can't really make Blade at 12 when the Wesley Snipes ones are like, what, 15 or 18? And like he's just slashing vampires and all the blood. Like, you can't really dumb down Blade either.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't dumb down Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, the first Blade movie with Wesley Snipes opens up with a nightclub raining blood on people.
Right.
So it's like,
It's
and it's such
literally
a
a
badass scene.
bloodbath.
It's literally a bloodbath. Yeah, so I hope they keep that, man. I really do, because with Mahershala Ali playing him, man, I think, yeah, he can get his hands bloody, man. I want to see him cut up some vampires, and it would be
Yeah.
cool if that was
Same
like
here.
Marvel's like introduction to like the rated R stuff. Like they can kind of do like a Marvel Knights type thing where you can have like a rated R Ghost Rider if you want to, and if Punisher has an adaptation coming, like we're not going to dumb down Punisher now. So I do hope that they kind of go that route, man, because that's a whole other side of the Marvel universe that is very much there. It gets dark, it gets DC levels dark if you want to compare it. So it can get there, and I hope they do that with the MCU. And imagine like take a step back and you realize that there's a show like Miss Marvel, and then there's a movie like Punisher. You're like, holy crap, there's like two different ends of the spectrum here. And then when we get to our next Endgame, maybe Secret Wars, we see those two stand side by side with each other to make it feel that more ambitious. So that I think that would be their way to go. To really take a step up. So yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes next in Marvel. Because I know some people complain about the superhero fatigue. But for me personally, I'm actually excited to see new characters in the MCU, especially since I've never read a comic in my life, and these shows and movies are like my introductions to these characters.
Right.
And I'm really excited to see what the future holds for a lot of these characters.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and I think especially with like lately Marvel is just trying to do like a different path than the normal. Like Doctor Strange is like the first kind of horror they've ever done.
Yeah.
And then Moon Knight was completely different to what we've seen before.
True.
And then they've announced R-rated Deadpool, and again Blade. I can imagine it's probably going to get a high age rating. So and then Miss Marvel's like what, like the basically like the Kid Avengers, basically.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I think a lot of people some are comparing it to like Disney Channel level. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But.
Okay.
It looks way better than a Disney Channel movie. I'll tell you that. It's not like in quality it's Disney Channel, but in terms of, I guess, family friendly, it's very much family friendly. And I think that's what's turning people off a little bit. After coming off of Moon Knight, especially, they're like, what? But who knows, man? That's gonna be interesting.
I do have a soft spot for High School Musical, so.
Dude, it's awesome.
Dude, honestly, I'll be honest with you. My friends and I from high school, a small group of friends and I, we were hanging out and we were just flipping through, the streaming services. Like, what do you want to put on just for background? And we came across High School Musical. We're like, oh, let's check this out. Let's check out how cringy it is. Like, we were batching, put it on. We sat through all of it and we started High School Musical 2. We were engaged, dude. I'm like, dude, this is running by really good. This is paced really well, man. It's not that bad. Right. It was pretty awesome. That was hilarious.
Man, I agree. Yeah. So recently on Anthony Perez's channel, because I know Anthony teamed up with Jacob on his channel. Anthony had me on, and I rewatched High School Musical for the first ever time since like high school, and I really enjoyed them. I found myself like singing the songs. I was like, it's so catchy. I was like, I forgot how good this is.
Yeah, and I have the songs on my Spotify playlist.
Right.
That's my workout playlist, man.
But
bet on it.
Oh, that's when you're in it. That's when you're lifting those weights, like push it.
And then Zac Efron in that song, like singing in like the most crystal clear water you'll ever see in your life.
Oh my god! Wow. Like that one was for the boys, man. We felt that one. All the men watching were like, yes.
Bet on it, bro.
I agree. I think we're going to have a High School Musical live stream. I think that would be fun.
That would be fun.
I've got Jason to see. I'm interested in seeing Jurassic World Dominion tomorrow. Yeah, dude. I've got my tickets booked for tomorrow night. So I'm intrigued in it. I'm just going to go in open-minded. I'm sure you guys probably will as well if you guys get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I'm going to try to see it.
Yeah.
And Jason saying, I think I only saw you had a reaction to the Moon Knight trailer for Christian.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I got to review that in its entirety because I know I talked about it. See, this is where you get intertwined with that because we talked about that a lot on the rendered image. Like we watched every episode and we talked about it and this and that. So to go back and since it's all one series now, it would be nice to review it since it's complete from beginning to end. So yeah, look forward to that as well. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for checking that out.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Jason. And yeah, I agree, man. Like, so what you were saying about like doing like a series review, like it's cool to do like an episode review, especially like if it's like a live stream.
Right.
But I think like for 90% of like episode reviews is like, oh, it's a slow start, oh, it was a solid start, but now it's slowing down kind of thing. It's like the same kind of thing. But like I know Jacob's recently just starting to do Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
And for me, like that got me really intrigued when you were talking about it, because you were talking about every single individual character, and without spoilers, but like how it's kind of affected your first ever viewing experience. So I think like episode reviews are cool for like maybe like an older series, and then like a full series review for like the brand new ones. But that might just be me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it just depends on what series it is. Like for me, since I watch Marvel and Star Wars stuff all the time, it's easier for me to do like one video covering the whole series. At least just every individual season. Because I would spend way too much time talking about Star Wars if I did individual videos. I wanted to keep a wide variety of content, so for those
Right.
I do the one video. But then something like Downton Abbey is I'm not that well versed, or I'm not the biggest fan of period dramas per se. But I was so hooked on that first episode, I'm like, okay, I might do a weekly series out of Downton Abbey and see how a newbie like me would react to the series. And I've been meaning to try to do weekly episode reviews of TV shows. The only other show I decided to get nostalgic in 2020 and revisit Veggietales. So I reviewed like every episode of Veggietales because I had nothing better to do during the lockdowns, and those videos took off. So.
Wow. Yeah, I know my mom watches Downton Abbey. Like she finished all of it. She actually watched. We actually went and watched the new movie that came out, A New Era, and that was pretty interesting because I haven't seen the show myself, but I know my mom was always watching it, and so based off her reaction, man, you're in for a treat because she absolutely adores it.
Yeah. And I told myself I didn't want to watch the new movies without seeing the show first, because I figured if I started watching like the 2019 movie or the New Era, which just came out, I'd probably get lost because I don't know these characters. I don't know what they're going through. I'm just being thrown in, and I don't know half of what these characters are doing. So starting with the show, especially with something as massive as Downton Abbey, is probably, I guess, a more fulfilling way to learn and get invested in these characters. It's kind of like with Firefly and Serenity. You can watch Serenity, but you won't get it near as much if you hadn't watched Firefly, the show that came before it.
Right. Yeah, I agree, man. And each episode is like around an hour, would you say?
Yeah, I think the first episode was just over an hour, and I think the rest are like, 50 minutes or something like that.
Okay. So it's like almost close to like an hour each. So that I can see how that would be, easier to do an episode each. And especially on top of, like you said, you usually do Star Wars, Marvel, and stuff like that, right? So it's doing something that's out of your vein. It's like, oh, I can put more attention to this. Like I can break this down, because I know, so much about the other stuff, but not this one, So yeah, them being that long and, of kind of a foreign topic to you, I can see that being an easier way to do that weekly. So that's pretty smart, man. And also coming up with a format like you did is also, key as well to do. So yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I got to check those out. I just recently subscribed, man. So
yep, I need to subscribe to you when I'm done. Actually,
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, the links to both guys' channels are in the description box below, because Jason's just saying that he searched for Jacob's channel, but a result came back for a football player.
I think there's other Jacob Martins on YouTube.
Lovely. So Jason, the links in the description box for Jacob Martin's channel.
I think I'm actually gonna have to go. I actually have to be somewhere, but definitely check out my channel when you're done watching the stream. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos, and other fun stuff. I'll plug my channel real quick.
Of course.
I just had a pretty awesome live stream with Rashad and Blacktastic Media. We talked about the movie Assassins, starring Sylvester Stallone. We all hated it, so it was a big epic roast, and we're all pretty big Stallone fans. So it was that was a fun chat we had. I got some other videos dropping on the channel, like my newest celebrating Disney video is on The Sorcerer's Apprentice, starring Nicolas Cage. Nice. That's coming later this week, and Superhero Saturdays. An upcoming video I'm doing is on Thor, the first movie. I'm building up to Love and Thunder, so what better way to revisit the Thor movies? So that's coming to the channel. I just recently reviewed The French Dispatch on my channel. I just finished a director project on Wes Anderson, and that video dropped. And I think tonight I got my Wes Anderson ranking, because I rank director filmographies when I'm finished reviewing a different director on my channel. So those are some of the exciting stuff coming this week. I'm actually going to be mostly off next week because I'll be out of town camping, but so I won't have as many videos out while I'm out of town, of course, but I'll be back to more content when I get back. And definitely feel free to share your love, give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you over on my end. So I'll see you in, I guess, the next live stream. Thank you, Mike, for having me on.
Of course, dude. Yeah, take care. And everyone who's interested, Jacob's link is in the channel as well, and the description box.
Enjoy the great outdoors, man.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Hey, dude. And yeah, so Christian, we've got a couple more questions and we'll wrap up as well. Sure. But yeah, dude, so it's just us two. We've got a question from JCX Fun says, who would you guys say is your favorite and upcoming actor, actress at the moment?
This is a good one. This is a good question. Maybe
should we go male and female?
Yeah, we should do male. Yeah, we could do one each. Yeah, for sure. I would say I kind of enjoyed, to kind of go a little obscure here, I kind of enjoyed the young actress they got as Leia. You know, she's really showing a lot of emotion in her performance, you know, especially in the recent, not to give too much away, but there's an interrogation scene with her, and she gives a lot of emotional performance there. Like, you see that she's struggling, she's trying to lie, she's trying to be cunning at such a young age, and this really helps develop the character of Leia from when we see her, you know, in the original trilogy. So I like the casting choice of that. So if she becomes, you know, if she follows this career, I could see her career, you know, flourishing after this. You know, she's very young, so anything's possible, of course. But in terms of like big actors that have made a name for themselves, I really like Timothée Chalamet. You know, he's really good. And Doom, he's really, you know, stepping into that franchise arena now. And even seeing him in French Dispatch was pretty awesome, because I liked his segment in the French Dispatch. Was the second one, so it was like in the middle of the movie. And then, of course, what was that? If you ever seen Don't Look Up, he played like a great parody on the modern teenager, the modern teenage kid. Yeah, it's on Netflix, I believe. It's a Adam McKay movie. It's with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, and Meryl Streep's in it as well. It's just it's a black comedy. I think it went over a lot of people's heads because the humor was just very sarcastic, dry, and everything was kind of just making fun of today's society. Like, if the world was ending, people would still be live streaming like us, or people would still be tweeting about it. You know, politicians, both left and right, would make, you know, campaigns based off a meteor coming and hitting, you know, so some people would believe it, other people would call it a hoax. So it really just puts up a mirror to society. So I think that was really where it threw people off, you know. But I really liked that movie. I thought Timothée Chalamet was really funny in that. And then in terms of actress, Anya Taylor Joy, ever since I saw The Witch, I was like, whoa, she's really, really great in this. And she's really beautiful as well. She's really enchanting when you just look at her. It's just like some type of magical fairy dust around her or something that's just really enchanting. So, yeah, all of her movies I've seen so far are really, really good. Even the upcoming one is called The Menu, some type of weird cult cannibal type thing. I don't know. That's what I'm getting from the trailer, but it looks really interesting. It looks really good. I think it might be an A24 film, because I saw that as a trailer when I watched Men. So that was one of the trailers when it first started. So that looks really interesting. And yeah, I liked her in what was it, The Northman recently. We just saw her in The Northman. Thought she was really good in that. Right. And Split, I remember seeing her in Split. I think it has to be either The Witch or Split that I first saw her in. I forget which one. I feel like I watched both of them at the same time. But yeah, she was really good in those. And I knew, like, ever since I saw her in either Split or The Witch, I'm like, she's going to get way more movie roles. And here she is now. You know, everyone knows her name and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I gotta say those two for sure. Yeah, awesome, man. And that Don't Look Up, by the way, I have heard of that movie. Yeah, like when it got released, like a lot of people were watching it. I just never got round to it. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's some great choices. I would definitely agree with you about Anya Taylor Joy. I was going to mention her for like the female part.
because you're right. I think the first movie I saw was The Witch.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's great in that. Great in Split. Even the New Mutants, which came out, which wasn't a great movie. Even in that one, like she was a promising actress in that.
I would like for the MCU to bring her back as Magic. If they do anything with mutants, just like bring her back as Magic, because that'd be awesome. And in the comics, she's the cousin to Colossus, who was in Deadpool.
Oh,
so that would be a cool, crossover right there for like a New Mutants type thing in the MCU. So yeah,
I still hope that could work.
Yeah, I could see it.
I mean, Marvel's slowly bringing in like every actor and actress known to man.
Yeah, like, were you in a Marvel movie? Come on down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have seen that. Last Night in Soho recently, I thought she was fantastic in that as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she's definitely like just elevating like I think she's like, I think I heard a report where she's like one of the most in-dated like actresses at the moment of like just so many people's requesting her to be in the movies.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she is in that upcoming Menu movie you were saying about A24. Yeah. Like she's doing she's doing all kind of movie roles.
Yeah.
But especially like coming off like The Northman. I would say more like the A24 is probably like the next step for that kind of like, there's different, like she does like some weird stuff in The Northman basically towards the end. But yeah, I get where you come from. I guess in terms of like male actors, I would say, I don't know if I'd say like upcoming, but like one of my favorites at the moment is probably like Andrew Garfield. Yeah. I think he is fantastic. I'm glad he's getting more roles like Hacksaw Ridge. He's awesome in Hacksaw Ridge.
I felt like he still won for that, for sure.
Yeah, like 100%. He deserved it. Obviously, of course, Spider-Man, like he's had his redemption as Spider-Man finally, because the first two movies aren't great.
I like the first one. Two is not. But the first one, I'm like, this is promising. I like this, But yeah, the second one came and tried to do too much.
Right.
But yeah, no, I like how Andrew Garfield is getting that recognition now. Like you said, like a lot more people are like, yeah, he's a good actor. It's like they're now realizing that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I just think he's just really like starting to get more solidified. And again, I know he's not like an upcoming actor, but he's starting to get more recognition. And I think another one who's starting to get a bit more recognition recently is Daniel Radcliffe, finally, than just Harry Potter. Especially like if anyone's seen like Lost City, he's a great villain. He's just so hammed up, but he's awesome.
I think he redeemed himself too, because he was in Now You See Me 2 as a villain, as an antagonist. Right. And people didn't really take him seriously in that movie. So I'm glad that in this Lost City movie, he kind of turned himself around in that. And I also like how he's going like those weird movie roles, like he did Swiss Army Man, where he literally played a dead body, which was he was excellent in that. It's not going to be easy to play a dead body like that. And then also he's in Miracle Workers, that show. If you ever see Miracle Workers on TBS, each season's a different theme. So it's the same cast, but they portray different characters, different storylines. So I think season one's more season one was like about God and his angels and what heaven is like an office space. It's like, and they go back and forth, and it's like, this batch of people just died. All right, I got to greet the newbies. Let's go out, and they go out. So it's very, like comedical like that. Then season 2 is medieval, and then 3 is like a Western era. So Daniel Radcliffe's been really exercising his acting chops and his comedic chops in that series alone. So it's cool to see him, kind of like come back into the movies and be like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still able to do this thing. I'm not just the kid from your childhood. And that's awesome, Like it's going to get more serious roles, kind of like an Adam Sandler route a little bit, where we see him in like oh crap. Like Daniel Radcliffe in the new Safdie Brothers movie. What is that movie going to be like? Whoa, I would go and see that movie, see him pair up with someone like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of that TV series, by the way. So you've got me intrigued.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Miracle Workers. Yeah,
Miracle Workers. Yeah, I'm going to have a look it up. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right what you're saying about Daniel Radcliffe. Again, like we said, like Daniel Radcliffe. Also Robert Pattinson, of course, as the Batman. Yeah. Highly, like, people, like, I'm glad that he's got the Edward Cullen stigma.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate, like, for that timepiece, like, I was certainly around, like, when, like, Twilight were in the cinema, I've seen a couple of them myself. But, like, if people's, like, seen, like, Good Time's awesome.
Yeah.
And, of course, the Batman movie, like, it's cool to know him as Edward Cullen. that's cool. But like, he's more than just that. The same for Radcliffe and any male or female actress. You know, it's just the same.
And it is hard to break away from those roles, you know. So,
definitely. It's especially with like how big Harry Potter is and continues to grow like every year as well.
Oh, yeah, true.
So, we've got Adam just saying, "Hey guys, what's going on?" So, hey Adam, hope you're doing well, man. Hope all's good. Jason's just saying, I think Zoe Kravitz has been doing some good things lately and could be a major star.
For sure.
Especially after like the Batman and being Catwoman.
I think I even liked her in what was it called? It's Kind of a Funny Story. She was in that movie back in the day, and I thought she was pretty good in that as well. There were a lot of talents in that as well. Zach Galifianakis was pretty good in that. That was teetering on comedical and dramatic roles, you know, because that was like a dramedy for sure, you know, set in a hospital psychiatric ward where it's about, you know, mentally ill patients and a kid, you know, he admits himself. Yeah. And so he's trying to find himself essentially, you know, and I thought she was pretty good in that too. He plays his love interest opposite of Emma Roberts. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, when you mentioned the movie, I was like, that rings a bell. And then when you described it, I was like, yeah, I've seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Also, I haven't seen it in a while. So
yeah, same here. Just to say about Andrew Garfield as well, like it's not uncommon, but he's really solidified himself in the last years. I've never seen TikTok Boom or Eyes of Bay, but I've heard great things about both of them. And yeah, we haven't got any more comments or anything at this moment. So I think we're going to pretty much wrap it up here. I've got a couple of things to do now, and Christian, I don't know if you've got plans for the rest of your day, man.
A lot of reviews to do.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anyone who's interested, the links again to Christian's channel, Two Lines, is in the description box. Please go subscribe to him. He's on the route to 350 subscribers, so let's get him there. And of course, we've recently just had also Jacob Martin here, but he's had to leave, so please go subscribe to Jacob. And Christian, man, before we sign off, have you got any last words you'd like to say?
No, thank you for bringing me on, man. I've seen a couple of these streams and I thought this was it was a very fun thing to do, you know, so I hope Cinema Horror Stories, I'm able to hop on there and share some of those experiences because it just seems overall fun, you know, so I'm glad you reached out to me and you're like, hey man, let's get you on the show. Cause I was eager to do so. So yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, of course. And definitely plan to have you on the Cinema Horror Stories. I like hearing people's horror stories at the cinema and like kind of bringing back all those memories of going to the cinemas, so even from childhood to like now.
For sure.
So yeah, definitely keep an eye on for Christian because he is going to be back on the channel at some point. Maybe within the next couple of weeks to a month. We'll obviously got to talk about our schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, just very quickly got Chase Excellence saying, we'll subscribe to your channel when the live stream ends. Thanks for support. I always like supporting anyone who helps them. So yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. I really, really appreciate it. And AJ Movie Place also said have subbed as well. So awesome. Thanks. So yeah, everyone, again, thank you for tuning into this week's episode. And I will be back again next week from Thursday at 9 p.m. Christian was mentioning before, he's got some movie reviews coming out. He's got like some new trailer reactions to like Nope with the final trailer. He's going to be reacting to that. So he's got some awesome stuff. And very quickly over on my channel, either very late tonight or tomorrow, you're going to get a review of Top Gunner Danger Zone. So
definitely be watching that, man.
Awesome. Well, I might even shoot it after I finish this. But yeah, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who's tuned in live or after the fact. Thank you to Christian and Jacob who's joined me. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.